Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge Podcast. My name's Josh. Thanks for joining me today. It's not going to be a snarky one. I want to actually go back over the video like I said it would with the Roland Pollard video. I want to go over our debate because it's been sitting with me in my head and a lot of people have been messaging me and asking me to talk about it a little bit and the ramifications of what this guy has actually done and how I feel like he's probably regrets everything he did because he said it. So we're going to talk about that. But before we do that, we got to spin the old wheel. Someone's going to win a prize. Mickey 44, you win. Reach out to Josh at the dadchallengepodcast.com with your shirt size and your address and I'm gonna hook you up. Let's talk about this. Let's go.
It's that time of year. DCP's here to snark and to jeer for these buttholes to hear. Don't forget to book your pap smear. Snarkmas 2023.
Ho, ho, ho! Nana, you son of a bitch!
Okay, so I have the whole thing except for the intro here. Thank you again to my mod, My Beavers Unit. She's been around for a long time. She's awesome. She's always looking out for me. She's always got my back. She's always sending me good videos. She and her husband are actually amazing. They send me videos when they're like laughing at my videos. So big shout out in the chat to my mod, My Beavers Unit. She deserves it. She's been incredible and she's been around for years. So, and you know how I don't trust mods generally because my stalker aims. So it's really hard for me to trust people, but I really think that she's awesome. Her husband served in the military. And so thank you for your service. Great people. Awesome. So she recorded this for me and, she goes to bat for me. She's pretty great. So I wanted to say that first off and foremost, she's really good. So that being said, I'm obviously going to be scrubbing through a little bit of this because it's over, an hour or something, hour and 32. So I just want to kind of get to some things that I missed because we'll see what he says. And then like my brain is ADHD, right? And so when I'm talking with somebody, it's really hard for me to focus. And when I debate somebody, I'm trying to listen at the same time, compile an answer in my head about, or a rebuttal or something like that. And he would say a bunch of stuff that would get me like, oh, I can't wait to say this thing when he's done talking. But then he would say another crazy thing and I would forget the first thing. And so I want to go over this real quick. It's not going to be real quick, but very, very interesting debate here. And if you want to know how this all started, first I messaged him because he had a video. We should probably just watch that video. So this is the video in question. And the reason I'm playing it on his channel is because I want to show you the comments. So this is where it all started. This video.
Go cough that up. Go. Cough hard. Harder.
And I want to point something out. Did you see those scooters over there? That's the scooters that I have. And when we were talking, he'll say it in here, that he doesn't make his kids wear helmets on scooters. That's the scooter where I took a bail over the handlebars, almost died. And he doesn't make his kids wear helmets on those things. Just wanted to point that out. Not like little push scooters. Those are electric scooters.
Harder. Get that last one out. So, are you ready for state? Yeah. Hey, your mind's like you want it. You're too slow. I thought you were fast.
So, like, this guy's trying to have, like, here's the thing that I see right off the top, right? This guy's got a microphone. She's mic'd up. This isn't like just some like, hey, we're just showing you guys father and daughter stuff. Like, it's professionally recorded. He's got lav mics. And look, you guys know I hate people who have bad audio. He's got killer audio. But it's because he knows how to film. He's a filmmaker. Like, he's like me. He knows what he's doing. He's got great camera gear. He knows how to do. He's good. All I'm saying is he's good. But the argument was you exploit your children, not if you're good or not.
Good job, Mom.
Remember, he said also he doesn't post his girls' beams workouts or exercise. I don't know what he calls So basically he just says, resilience. My 7-year-old was sick and I forced her to go to state. Like, I get it. It's a big deal to go to these things. It's not hard. It's not easy to do this stuff, but The girl's like coughing her brains out. And so here's the comments. I said, "You're insanely gross for posting this about your child, exploiter." And he says, "I promise I won't go hard on you. Just want to hop on an episode." So this is what he says to me. "Let's do a podcast," he says. And I said, "Sure." I said, at first I said, "Are you sure?" I tried to give this guy an out. I really did. I was like, "Are you sure? Like, I don't think you know who I am." And I'm not trying, again, I don't say that to say, "Do you know who I am?" I'm like, I don't think you know what I do on here. So, because nobody will debate me on this who's in this world, because they can't, obviously. This guy's a smart guy, I think. So he says, "I promise I won't go hard on you. I just want to hop an episode." I said, "Sure, let's go hard or go home." I said, I want him to go hard on me. So I said, and do go hard or go home. So anyway, you got all these other kids sick. Instead of testing your child, letting your child sit out for a week. There's comments like, "For actual effing F's sake, so you control this little girl so much you tell her when to cough and how hard. She's sick, her body needs rest. Kind of stuff you put your child in sitting where other people may catch the bug she has. She's literally a child." Can tell a lot of people in the comments aren't athletes. Yeah, maybe. "As an athlete, I can say you seem to be a great coach, but as a daughter, I also feel you may not be a safe space. You may not be a safe space for her. She only wants to please you." And I said that, Narek. So anyway, this is where it all kind of started. And I want to make sure you guys read. So that's where I got this comment. I didn't just look for this. A bunch of people sent me this. When I get stuff sent to me on Instagram, generally I'll go look at it, and if it pisses me off, I'll leave a comment. Or I'll message the creator, right? It rarely rises to the level where I do a bunch of videos on somebody, right? There's so many people out there doing it. But again, this guy wanted to debate, and I said this at the beginning too, in my live. I never underestimate who I'm debating, ever. They could be the smartest person in the room, because I'm generally never the smartest person in the room. But when it comes to the exploitation of children online, I feel like I know a couple of things, right? I feel like I've been covering this for about 3 years, and I feel like I've seen the patterns in everything that everybody's ever done, and all the excuses they've ever used. If they ever talk about it online, they all use the same excuses. Now, again, he might have had something to say that was going to be super good, and I've been like, "Oh God, I never even thought of it that way," right? But he didn't. So, opening the thing, the message was, "Hey man, I really appreciate you having me on. I apologize for calling you a loser. I want to start off on a good footing. It wasn't right for me to do that. I think you attract more, I think it was more bees with honey or something like that instead of like poop." I don't know what I said, but basically said, "I appreciate you having me on, and I wanted to apologize, kick it off with a good start." That part's missing just because we got on here. I didn't tell anybody I was getting on, and my mod just started filming this kind of right after. So right into the debate, we start talking about stuff. But again, I'm going to have to be skipping through.
But basically, the first thing that hits me is, do we understand that the privacy for our children is really important?
So I said, "Do we understand the privacy for our children is really important?" Because the audio is garbage.
Do you understand? Like, would you concede that protecting your daughter's privacy is important?
Fully.
Okay. And when I'm just going through your thing now, which is why I'm looking up. Like, when I see pictures, there's 100 pictures of your daughter in everything else.
You can't hear it, but there's hundreds of pictures of your daughter in bikinis, bathing suits, leotards, and everything else, right? I'm like, so basically he says, "Yes, I think protecting my daughter is important." So I said, then, okay. My argument now is, based on your content, that's not what I'm saying. They're predators. I'm trying to get to, like, obviously I'm laying the groundwork to set a major point in the end. That's like, hey, you say this thing, but the evidence proves otherwise. That's basically what I'm doing.
Not necessarily there's anything wrong with that. Right? As a human dad, your daughter, she seems to be very, very talented. Seems to be like.
It's because he's got his speaker on and it's canceling out what I'm saying. We should both have headphones on.
You should be put pretty hard into like up the Olympic level athletic, which is nothing wrong with that apparently. But the first thing I see is that, do you know that there's probably a predator online? There's a relationship with your daughter?
So the question is, because the audio is garbage, do you know there's probably 1,000 predators online that has a parasocial relationship with your daughter?
There's probably millions.
And he says there's millions, but I think he was confused.
Okay. 1 million followers.
You're saying predators, not followers.
Yeah, predators.
Yeah, millions.
So when I break it down, you have 1 million followers. I break it down to like, I don't have a number, but.
So if you look on my page, you don't see a ton of videos of my daughter and her Leo because I.
Okay. When you look on my page, you don't see a ton of pictures of my daughter in her Leo, which he's saying leotard. And I beg to differ, dude. A bunch of pictures of your daughter in bikinis and bathing suits and leotards in, there's a lot of pictures of your daughter in leotards, short shorts. There's not really any pictures of your daughter actually in modest clothing. And I'm not saying, like, I know you're in dance, and I understand that dance is, you gotta wear a certain thing, but they're like almost every single picture, except for this one, modest, right? Almost every picture is your daughter in a bikini or in short shorts or in, something like that. And you're, again, I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with that. Grow confidence in your kids. Let them wear what they're comfortable in. This kid's in a leotard doing the splits in the air with a microphone on her here, okay? And inherently, there's nothing really wrong with all this stuff except for the fact you post online in front of 8 million people. Except that part. I'm trying to get to that. I was trying to say that, but maybe I didn't say it correctly.
I don't want my daughter in a Leo in a lot of posts because I understand.
So I'm going to need to, this is so long because everything he said was literally provable that he was lying. Like, I don't want my daughter in this, and I don't want my daughter in this, and I don't want my daughter in this. And then I'm looking over here at this. She's in a Dole ad. She's in advertisements galore. Disney. She's in, like, this guy makes a lot of money off his daughter. Like, probably most of his money. And it's come out since then through a lot of people in the back end that even now his platform that was built off his daughter, which he admits in this video, and you'll see it, hopefully, if we get to it, that he now is like talking about financial advice, blah, 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 but he doesn't get to be in front of that audience. Kind of like Asa and Priscilla from Fathering Autism. She doesn't grow that, that lipstick pig mama thing, or she doesn't get to grow that lipstick mama thing without the exploitation of their daughter, right? She doesn't get to that level because she's clearly not a makeup artist, nor does she understand what makeup, like she's not. Anyway, all I'm saying is that he makes his money. He might be giving financial advice and insurance advice and blah, 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 and family planning advice, but none of that comes without the exploitation of his daughter and the massive growth platform that has happened because of this. And now I've reached out, and even my friends and family that I've spoken to about this case, they know him. He's gone massively viral a bunch of times. He's very well known. And so even people in my circles who don't really watch YouTube and stuff, they know who this guy is. He's been across a lot of people's faces. He's been in front of a lot of people's eyes. And so there's no other way to put this. He makes all of his money from the exploitation of his child. He doesn't get the success he has without the exploitation of his child. And he'll say, I had money before all this. I've been told otherwise. I mean, he might have had a little bit of money, but he hadn't had this level of success without the exploitation of his daughter. And that's what I'm saying from the top. I mean, it cannot be argued. I'm sorry.
How that is. If you look at the video that I posted of her in gymnastics, any clip, that's why I don't post videos of her beam routine. I don't want people, but
he doesn't want pictures of his daughter doing the splits, he says, right? Doesn't want his daughter doing splits on camera. Splits. That's 2. And I'm just scrolling from like a couple of months ago, okay? There's already been 2 pictures of his daughter doing splits in the air. Like, again, everything he says, I don't think that he understands what's on the internet. Splits, okay? I don't think he gets it. And that's the scariest part, because I actually think he honestly believes he's doing okay.
A misconception, if you look at the cheer videos, she's wearing a cheerleading outfit. We're doing partner signing, which is where a one man or female, whoever, is signing with another individual. And I just did a podcast episode with a very well-known cheer person, and he's a sufferer, and he knows that.
I'm gonna have to skip over some of the stuff where he just like rambles because it'll piss you off, and it doesn't add to this conversation. He just rambles. He wants to get me off track, or he wants to get the topic off track, so he doesn't have to answer the question. And I've already asked him a bunch of really hard questions, and he has no answer. But the thing is, he'll answer it right off the top. Like, he'll say, do you want to protect your kid? Yeah. Do you think they're predators? Yeah. But then he'll like ramble on like, oh yeah, we do this. I don't care about that stuff. Like, I really don't. But he loves to hear the sound of his own voice.
That issue is something that I can understand if you don't have the information. But I feel that there's a way to do it. Like you said, you probably, it doesn't matter. If that's how you feel, then say it. People let their emotions get to them. You started off the conversation calling me a loser.
He says, here's the thing that pissed me off so much. He kept saying, like, if you just say it, if you're going to say something, say it. I did say it. And that's why I'm on your show with you right now. He kept saying, like, say it to my face. I did say it to you. I said it to you in your DMs personally, and on your face, and in your comments, and I'm saying it to your face here. And he keeps alluding to the fact that I'm like, not being a coward, but like, he's like, just say it. If you're going to say something, say it. I did say that. And then you got mad at me for calling you a loser. But then he kept coming back to that. Just say it. I did. Well, you want me to say more?
Yeah. You don't know me. You don't know what I do for a living. You don't know that even let's go to the coughing video, okay? Because exploitation, it seems like you're focused on the sexualizing part, but as far as exploitating, and I'm sure it's going to come up for income. What is your thought on that?
I hate his style debate because it's just such a waste of my time.
Real quick before I say it.
So basically, that's kind of one of the big things. I cover a bunch of topics, but if you need your child to make you money, in the end, no matter how you swing it, because I don't care if a kid's in the background of a video or whatever, but if your daughter is your main content and makes you money, that's exploitation.
I mean, simple, cut, dry. Couldn't make it more clear. And this guy's thinking himself, because what he wants to do is pivot to the fact that he's like, maybe he had some money before and maybe he doesn't need to use his daughter now. But I'm sorry, if he took his daughter off his platform, he would not go viral anymore. He wouldn't. And a lot of people said, why didn't you ask him that? I think I did, but I didn't say, hey, like, do me a favor, man to man. If you're so confident in this, do me a favor, 30 days, don't post your daughter. But I didn't say it. I'm stupid for not doing it.
That what?
That's exploitation.
How's that exploit? Well, I'm with you, but how's that exploitation?
Well, if your daughter, if it is on your daughter's shoulders to any degree that you make your money, if she has to be in your content for you to make your money, if you get an ad read from a company, let's say for a leotard company or from whatever, some kind of sporting Lululemon, let's just say, right? And they say, look, we want your daughter in this video. We're going to give you an extra $5,000 to $10,000. If your content is engaging and it needs your daughter, like, I guess the best way to say it is, would your content survive if your daughter wasn't in it?
Yes.
Okay.
He's so confident of that.
Now,
it wouldn't. Because then, hopefully we get to it, but he eventually says, you know, it's so weird how he debates because it sounds like he's got a gotcha moment. He's like, well, how do you think I grew? I'm like, well, this is what I think. And then he like admits it. It's so weird how he does it.
So exploitation. One question. Does your daughter make you money?
Yeah, she does.
Does my daughter make me money? No.
Liar. So he says no. If you scroll right to the right side here, it's such a lie. Right there, Dole ad. Daughter makes his money. And he admits about American Girl, American Doll, or whatever it's called. His daughter makes him all of his money. His daughter is the reason he goes viral. He's not the one stunting, falling on his face, crying. He's the coach, sure, but she's the star. He's not the star. She is.
Okay. Does her being in your content make you money?
I know he's bullshit lying right now. Like, I know he's lying.
Does her being in my content make me money? No.
Okay. Why are you lying?
Will brands pay me to create family content with my daughter? Yes.
So he says no. Then he says, will brands pay me to use my daughter to make family content? Yes. I'm trying to stay calm here. Right, guys? I'm trying to be like, that's what I said, dude.
Okay. My question for you, what do I do for?
It's at this moment this guy was like, what have I done? He asked what he did for a living. And then I think things fell apart. I was at a bad signal or something.
Or I guess what he's getting at is, if you need your child to make money, that is exploitation of your child. Okay.
Yep. That is. Yep.
He doesn't understand that I own 3 businesses.
Puts up 4 fingers, but it doesn't matter if you own 3 businesses. And I'm obviously saying this, and I think he says it again later. Yeah, but your 3 businesses are not successful without the exploitation of your daughter and the platform that you've built because of her. So he doesn't want to talk about that, but that's exactly it. Again, like Asa Moss and Priscilla Moss, their side hustles are not going to work without their following. He owes everything to this daughter. She is the one that got him the platform he has right now, which then he uses to build his other businesses. So that's all linked. It is all linked.
Okay. And he understands that you can make money on social media. You can make a lot of money on social media. But do you need social media to live? No, not at all.
He's lying. He absolutely does.
I would be remiss if a brand were to want to provide income for family style content, knowing how income essentially will help your family survive. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about. If you need the income for your family to survive, great. But that should never be on your daughter to provide said income. It's not her responsibility. And he is putting it on her shoulders to do that. But he's also, it's weird though, in a weird way, taking all the credit like it's all him doing it. Isn't that a little bit weird too? Like, we know that she's the star, but he's like, no, it's me. He honestly thinks he's the star of this thing. He's not the star of this thing. And he's taking all the credit for it. It's crazy.
Okay, there we go. He's going to join in a second. But what he's not understanding, or what he hasn't asked me is, what do I do with the income that I receive from social media? If my
He's so cocky when he does it. He's like, what he hasn't asked me is, what do I do? And I said this, I think, coming up. I don't care what you do with the money. I give her every penny of the money. I don't care. And you don't, but just let's say you do. Okay? You're still exploiting your child. Because all these parents can say that they give the kid every penny, and we all know it's a darn lie. Okay? It's a darned lie. It's just not true.
content. And that's what I publicly, or that's what I want to have a conversation about publicly. Let's keep going. Hold on. He's back.
I don't know if these are my fans or his fans in here, but everybody's against this guy except for like 3 people.
So they pay to have your daughter in the videos, but you don't get paid for your daughter. All right, we're back.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Just I must have pressed something. Sorry about that.
Well, while you were gone, one topic I do want to touch on. While you were gone, I told them that I want to get to the nitty gritty of I would be remiss if someone were to offer money for family style content and my child is willing to do so. She loves recording videos saying, yeah, manly campaign, American Girl doll. Like, why would I not? But the question is, do I need that money? Absolutely not. But
he'll always say some kind of salient point here, like, do I need it? No. And then he'll move on. I'm like, well, let me rebut that. Because you do need the money, man. Guy lives in like probably in a gated community, apparently near NFL players. So he lives in a really, really wealthy part of the world. And he didn't move into that place and have 2 Teslas and everything else with all this stuff. By the way, if this is true, someone also sent me this PPP loans. So he owns Spirit Vibe Productions, okay? And we know that because he posts with him at Spirit Vibe Productions, okay? We know he owns this. And Spirit Vibe Productions took $52,500 and $53,137 for two loans to protect 2. And we talked in depth about PPP loans and how like these people should not have been taking it. And in that time, he says payroll is $52,000, took it twice, right? So he paid himself or his wife or his child, whatever, because he admits later that he puts his kids on payroll because that's a tax thing you're allowed to do. It's legal. It's a tax loophole. But basically, he took over $106,000 in his pocket. Oh wait, sorry, this is one. He took over 90-something thousand. Sorry, there's 2 of them. So that was the amount forgiven, which was a little more than he did. And then he took the second one here for $39,900. And that's 2 jobs reported, and that's payroll, right? And so he took over $90,000 from that he didn't need. Because then he talks about during COVID, he like exploded in popularity and value. And so he's not only that, he's like one of those other creators who just took free money. And at the same time he did this, he bought a Tesla Plaid. And I asked him about it. I was like, yo, that Tesla Plaid's pretty sweet. He's like, I also asked him if he owns Spirit Vibe Productions, and he said no. So I have to tell you that he denies that he took PPP loans. So I will tell you that. Whether or not you believe him, that's up to you to believe. If he owns Spirit Vibe Productions, then he did take the loans. So there's no way around saying that you didn't. I don't know how he's getting around that. But anyway, all that to say is that he didn't need the money, and he exploded like a lot of us creators during COVID. We made a lot of money. A lot of creators made a lot of money because COVID didn't stop us from creating content. So many creators took the money, and some didn't, which was really weird to me. Like, I rarely shout out Jess Pham for doing something good because she's a terrible person, but she didn't take any PPP loans. But Micah did. So many people took PPP loans when they didn't deserve them. Tara Henderson. Who else? Like, so many people took them, and in hundreds of thousands to some degree. Okay? And they didn't need the money because they were making money. They didn't, like, this is an industry where you did not need you didn't have to shut down a store or lose money. You actually gained money because people were home watching you more. So he took that money, and he's an accountant or something like that. He's a financial guy, so he understands he could take the money freely, and it was all forgiven. So just so you're aware, this type of guy takes money that he didn't need.
What do I do? What do you believe I do with that money?
I don't care what you do with the money. In the end, I don't care what you do. Okay, well, I think it depends. If you're wealthy, you probably put money aside for her, hopefully. Put it away for education. Maybe you invest in businesses for her future. Hopefully you do all amazing things with the money. That's awesome. The problem is you don't have informed consent from your daughter to put her on the internet like you do.
Do you know that my daughter speaks English?
This guy's arguments, man. I guess.
Okay.
Do you know that we can converse? If I say hi, she will say hi back.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. So,
see, he's trying to make a point. Do you know she speaks English? All you had to say is, do you know that I've had conversations with her about this? That's all you had to say. He's being condescending here. He thinks, I don't think this guy's ever been called out in his life. Ever once. And that's kind of sad, man. You're not going to really do that well if you can't have somebody that, like, I have done some stuff on my channel where I'm not very proud. I've done some stuff where it's like, I shouldn't have done that. And I hear the people that are close to me and I listen. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'm like, I learn from it. Right? I'm not saying I'm always the most humble person. I'm not saying I'm always receptive, but I try to be, for sure. I don't think you can become a better person unless you're continually educating yourself and listening to those around you who you trust, right? This guy's never had someone who he trusts around him tell him this stuff at all. And you can tell the way he debates. I think he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. And those who allow that to happen, maybe they're taking something from him or they're expecting something from him or they're walking on eggshells around him. But he's not. He word salads his way into losing. It sucks because it wasted my time.
My answer to that usually is like, yeah, that's great. Kids will tell you that they want to eat candy and they want to stay up till midnight. They want to do this and that. They want to run their lives. They want to have an iPhone. They want to be on social media. We are, as parents, and that's why I messaged you. I said, look, as a father, your job is to protect your daughter. And then my original question will always still stand. If you knew there were predators watching your daughter and she's in danger, why would you continue to put her on the internet?
It's a good point.
There's women, I know there are people of the same sex watching me on the internet.
I'm trying to keep a straight face here, but the face you're seeing me do now is the faces I wanted to do. I wanted to be like, what the fresh hell, dude? I'm trying to keep respectful because this is anybody who would ever come on my show and talk to me about this. This is how I'm going to treat them. I'm not going to be snarky a-hole. I want to hear what you have to say. I really do. Maybe somebody out there has a great salient point I've never heard yet, right? And I'd be like, I've never thought of that. And I want to know it so that I can be prepared to like be wrong in some cases. Right? Because I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm not saying that I'm for everybody. But like, I think I'm right about this, right? The exploitation of children is wrong.
Who probably they fantasize about me.
Sure, but you're an adult and you can give informed consent. You can actually understand the outcome.
Why would I give an individual consent to look at me?
What a dumb argument. You don't give the individual consent to look at you. That's the whole point. That's why it's dangerous. You can't give them consent to do that. But you sort of do, though, really, when you post yourself out there with your short shorts and your abs out. You really want women to comment. You want to be a thirst trap, man. I'm not saying, like, let's be real about this. You love it. You are giving consent when you post on the internet for the public to consume. That's the consent. So that's like so many of them who post out content like, you don't deserve my explanation for this and that. Well, yeah, they do. You post it out there. That's your consent. And you're an adult, you're allowed to do that. So when you do that for your child, you're doing it without their consent. I've said it a million times. No other way to say it.
No. I'm talking about you give yourself consent to put yourself on the internet, same as I do. I got a lot of haters. I understand how that works, right? You can do that because you're an adult, right? But your daughter, how old is she? Does she look like she's about 7, 8, 10?
7.5, almost 8.
Okay, so I have an 8-year-old too. So in the end, when she's 18 and she, for whatever reason, she's in Olympics or something or whatever, right? When she's 18 and she says, I didn't want to be on the internet. I didn't want you to show me coughing and having all those haters say comments about me and you. And she gets really upset with you doing that when you're older. How are you going to approach that?
What if she never does? You're saying that as if that's going to happen, but
it's going to happen. But he's right. What if she doesn't? Maybe. And it's a small percentage of those children who are raised on the internet could go on to like it. But just like child actors, if you look back, a very, very small percentage liked their life. Very, very small percentage. Most of them hated what happened to them. And a lot of them were treated very wrong by the industry itself. Okay, so, and I'm not even talking about this unregulated crap on the internet. I'm talking about regulated. So, like, maybe she won't, but maybe she will. And that's why I'm always like, erring this out of caution. Safe than sorry. So what if she does? So is it going to be worth it to you when she turns 18 and she gets older? She's like, can't believe you did all that. I don't want anything to do with you. Is that worth the risk for you?
To backtrack, she knows. You got to understand, my daughter reads the comments, and I explained to her.
When he said that, I was like, dude.
What negativity is. I explained to her but because I have a relationship with her, a very close relationship.
Yeah.
She watches every video before I post it, okay? And if she were for some reason to get sexualized by an individual from watching a video of her in a cheer outfit from something, that's not like, why would I not post that? Because that's not the reason I'm posting it.
You can't make it up. So this is when he says something, he probably pivots, but like, why would I not post that if predators are watching? Because predators are watching. If you knew predators watching and you admit to it, you still post it, then you are literally consenting to predators watching it. You know what I'm saying? You're posting it for predators to watch, knowing that they're watching it. No parent worth their salt who is good is like, I know that there's a creepo that watches children at the park, and so I'm going to send my kids to this park. You're not going to do it. Okay? If you know it, then you don't do it. That's my point. And he said it out loud.
I can do what I can to be aware of that and not show certain angles, which I do. But if you're saying my daughter
Everybody's freaking out. You let her read the comments? What?
Good and goes to the Olympics, okay? In the Olympics,
this guy's full of double talk. It's like you're talking to Biden.
She doesn't have control over the camera angles. In the Olympics, she is going to not be protected by that. She's not going to be protected by her dad not choosing with awareness to not show those angles of her in a lead up. It's just going to be on national TV.
Someone says it's called Talk to Your Children, which he does. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. And I've been sent many videos of this girl flinching at her dad's voice. Her dad, she's two things. She loves her dad and wants to please him because that's her dad. And she's also scared of him. No other way to put it. This guy is a scary guy. He's not someone who's like, does he seem like a loving, like patient person to you? Because in the end, when he starts threatening me, like that type of person, I would never threaten somebody on the internet like unless you threaten me, then I'd be like, okay, well, let's go toe-to-toe. Like I said, I'd throw this guy through a window if he ever came to my house, right? It's not a threat. Okay, that's like he threatened me and I said, like, try it. Okay, I guess it's like a return threat. But I would never just go online and be like, I'm threatening everybody else and all this kind of stuff. Like physically harm someone, I would never do that because I wouldn't do that. Like unprovoked is what I'm saying. I wouldn't just come out there and say like, you proved me wrong, so I'm going to threaten you physically. I would never do that anyway. Right. But again, don't ever threaten to come to my house or to hurt my family because I don't care. I will. It's not that. Those are promises. Like, don't do it. Just don't. Like, just don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was talking to my neighbor about this, and my neighbor is like, we're very similar. And he's like very hyper protective of his kids. And like, he's like, we got each other's back, basically, like ride or dies. And I was telling him about this guy, and he's just like, oh, I hope you try something. Like, that's the type of people I surround myself with. Like, if someone were to go after my friend Tom or Jeff or Mark or any of my boys, right, at all, to some degree, I'm there. I don't care. I'm riding. Ride or die, buddy. I have a lot of ride or dies. And I don't care. Like, if you threaten someone's family, it's just not something you do. So, by threatening me, he threatened my family, right? Shannon Rose did that. She effed around and found out, right? She got called out for it, and now she's like, you know, I could still to this day sue her if I wanted. I'm not going to because this is so expensive, and she's worthless. Her channel is, for all intents and purposes, dead. So, but people have done it to me. Have called me P, you know, a chomo or pedo online, and I'm like, not going to put up with it. I'm not going to put up with the lies that could destroy a family. If you want to call me out the same way I'm calling you out, like surface level stuff, go for it. Okay? But don't make up crazy lies that could destroy someone's family because you don't like I make fun of their thumbs. Okay? That's a little bit crazy. So all I have to say is that this guy makes his living, and it's so provable that he's really not good at being a dad. And that's what I was trying to get to without saying it.
Everyone to see. So if your daughter is good at something, why refuse to hold it back from the public? All because
What a
one person, one monkey. That's like saying
not one person, it's thousands.
Don't hang around black people because
See that I wanted to comment on that. He's like, that's like, why would I withhold that from the internet? And I was about to rebut that, and then he brings up this stupid point. So let me rebut that. Why would I withhold that from the internet? Because why would you put it on the internet? Nobody deserves to see your daughter. Like, the world will be fine without seeing your daughter in a leotard doing stunting. We'll be okay. We'll get along just fine without her. Okay, so, and that's a stupid argument. But then he goes on to say this.
black people sell drugs. So if you see the black, why would you go around that black person knowing that black people sell drugs and they probably have a gun? How are you going to generalize that? Because what if that black person doesn't sell drugs, or what if the person who sells drugs is over there? Like, you can't.
I'm trying not to laugh here, but like, what? He brings in the race card, obviously. Like, why would that black person? He just made the stereotyping. He just made the blanket statement that black people sell drugs. No one ever said anything like that. The race has never come up in this conversation. He obviously clearly doesn't know my race at all. He doesn't know that my mother is half black and half indigenous. He doesn't know I grew up in a world like that, obviously, but I can't expect him to. But at the same time, don't use race in a conversation that has nothing to do with race whatsoever. Like, that's the craziest thing. Like, if that's all you have to say about the exploitation of children, you're like, well, why would I not? He's like, basically he's saying he would send his kid around known drug dealers and gangsters, is what he's saying. That's his argument here, which doesn't make any sense. And he's being racist.
Generalize, and you can't make all of your decisions based off a small percentage.
Sure, I agree.
Be aware of that. If you know that
some people are like, what?
Those are on this corner, and you need to go, or maybe if you don't even have to go to some place. But let's say your favorite store is, your favorite place to eat is Chick-fil-A.
It is too. How did he know? Because dang, those nuggies. The nuggies.
There are drug dealers on the right side of Chick-fil-A. You're aware of that, so why would you go on the right side of Chick-fil-A knowing that you could potentially get attacked by drug dealers or get shot? Go on the left side.
Comments like just like, what?
You should not go to Chick-fil-A if that's what something genuinely like.
Well, I think it's more like this. Instead of going to Chick-fil-A with your daughter where you can protect her, would you send your, let's say there's a park down the street, you know there's a predator there could possibly be predators there. You send her there by yourself?
See, I said he doesn't have an answer for this. Because his answer is no, of course I would not send my daughter to a park in a place where there might be predators around. The answer is no to that. Every time. But because I have these gotcha questions, they're not gotcha questions, they're just like, I need you to admit something. This is what debate is all about, right? Like, you wouldn't. The answer is I wouldn't. Okay, so then why? Then my rebuttal is, then why do it on the internet?
Where's he going?
Would you send her to a park? Let's say in your neighborhood there's sexual deviants who are labeled on that map that you can find, right? You don't know who they are, you know what they look like, but you know they're in your neighborhood. Do you send your daughter to the park by herself?
I would let my daughter go to the park by herself if she was with her. I wouldn't let her.
I was just about to say, I would let my daughter go to the park by herself if she was with. No, then it's not going by herself.
Go to the park by herself as a 7-year-old. But I grew up going to the park by myself.
So he's like, I wouldn't let her go to the park as a 7-year-old, but you'd post her on the internet in front of millions of strangers as a 7-year-old. This is what they don't see. I don't get it. Like, the internet is more dangerous. Guys, there's more people out there anonymously predatorizing your children and could potentially be stalking them and knows that you go to these big events. It's more dangerous because you're adding to the predators that likely would stalk this child. It's not just a neighborhood and they're seizing an opportunity because they see a child. There are active predators watching your child because you're serving them up. You understand? Like, it's more dangerous on the internet.
We grew up in a different era.
No. My son is outside playing in the patio by himself with the back door open.
Yeah, on your property in a fenced yard. And probably shouldn't. The kid looks like he's a toddler. Probably shouldn't be out there by himself.
We're not in a different era because there have been sexual predators since the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to tell my daughter she can't go to the park because
my face.
There's a sexual predator. No, I don't hear that. But then again, I don't see where you're getting at because we live in a good neighborhood. Even if we didn't live in a good neighborhood, we know our neighbors. We are a very communal neighborhood.
See, he just couldn't answer the question. He's like, oh, we have good neighbors. You don't know that. You don't know it. And the answer was no. He already said it. He just keeps talking. No, I would not send my daughter to the park by herself at 7. That's the answer. But he keeps saying, well, we have good neighbors. But no, that's not the question. You answered it, and now he's deflecting. But he's answering it. And the whole debate was like this. The entire thing was, I'd ask a question, he'd then either skirt around it and then answer it honestly and then try to move on to the next thing, or what. And then that's why at the end, he got really upset. I think his manager was messaging him and saying, like, you need to get off. You have been destroyed. Like, it's time to go.
Neighborhood. I would be fine if my daughter said, hey, I want to go to the park. I would say, Jane, okay, well, I'm going to go with you. Why would I let my 7-year-old daughter go to the park by herself? Well,
exactly.
That's not because of sex.
You're getting it now. All right, here it is.
No.
I'm like, you got it.
You just said, why would I let my daughter go to the park by herself? Perfect, thank you. But why would you post your daughter on the internet for millions of people to watch her in a leotard? You said another thing, too. You said, hey, look, why wouldn't I share this with the world? Does your daughter's success rely on your fans? Does it matter that people watch her while she's doing this? Or do you think that she'd be just as good, just as talented, and everything if you didn't turn the camera on when you were doing these things?
I forgot to ask that question. It's a good point, Josh.
You're asking a question that you need back information on.
That's a microphone.
Yes, a backlog, okay? So we can get back to this talk.
You're asking questions I don't want to answer, so let's get back to this other thing.
But
He didn't want to answer that. Because the answer is yes, of course she'd be successful without me and without the internet and fans. Of course she would. She doesn't care about that stuff. All she cares about is you and your approval. That's it. She doesn't understand, likely, her fame. She doesn't. And that's why informed consent is so important. Because she doesn't understand the outcome. She doesn't understand how famous she is. She doesn't understand there's millions of people out there who probably want an autograph, to hang around her, to just take a picture with her, a selfie. She doesn't get it, dude. She doesn't.
do you mind if I just give you just a quick overview of this, okay? So, how did we blow up online?
Yeah, this is it. So I asked him, basically, like, your daughter is what makes you famous. Then he goes on to, like, let me give you an overview of how we blew up online. Ready? Get ready.
I mean, probably, I don't know.
If you don't know, that's the thing, okay? So, like, I don't never assume, you just ask.
See, I'm saying I don't know because maybe he's got a got me right now. He's got a gotcha. Well, I did this viral video about coaching and it went viral because of that. Then my daughter stepped in. I'd have been like, okay. I would have had, not much to say for that, except for the fact that, well, now you use her. I would have had an argument. But, I'm assuming he's about to drop a bomb on me right now. Like he's about to say, well, you're wrong, Josh, because this is what happened. But watch what he says.
But if you don't know, just say I don't know.
Well, if I were to answer that based on your content, right? If I'm looking at just your social media, just your Instagram alone, if I'm just looking at just that, you blew up because your daughter's looks like an amazing athlete.
Why is she an amazing athlete?
Probably because you coached her.
Why did I coach her?
Like, oh my gosh, what the hell?
Because you're dad and you're a good coach.
I don't know where you.
Why am I a good coach?
Holy shit, dude!
I have no idea.
Because I coached for 8 years prior to having my daughter.
So he was almost trying to say, like, I was a famous coach before I did all this. That's what he was trying to say, but then he doesn't watch.
I was a cheerleading coach. I taught kids how to stunt to prepare them for college. COVID happened. I had 5,000 followers.
Boom.
COVID happened.
Yeah.
5,000 followers. COVID happened, he said.
I'm always been financially stable because I own businesses. I don't need social media money to live. I could shut down my Instagram. I could shut down I have 7.4 million people on TikTok. I could close all that down today and be just fine.
He says he could close it all down and be fine. And then I'm like, later on, I'm like, then close down. Like, again, why put your daughter in danger if you don't need the money? Like,
not better because I have a clear view, a peace of mind. I don't have people who don't know me putting their opinions out there, okay? But how did we blow up? We had a big house with really tall ceilings. And so during COVID, knowing how I was financially stable, we had a savings plan to get us through the lockdown.
Also, PPP loans. He took $95,000 in PPP loans. Don't forget that part.
Okay, my business wasn't running, so what did I do? The kids were in school. I would stomp with her in the living room and post videos. Instead of coaching at the gym, I would coach my daughter, my baby girl at home. People started watching those videos during a very, very, very dark time.
There you go. People started watching those videos.
Okay. And once I realized we started growing a following, they were like, oh, I love it.
We started growing a following.
This content, I love it, I love it, I love it. Boom, we would make more and more videos. Jaden had a blast with it. She loved it.
So it's back. How else to say this? We blew up, then started making more and more videos and grew because of that. It's his daughter. He just admitted it. He just admitted it. Every question I've asked, it took him a long time to get there, but he admits it.
She had a good time. She would learn more and more and more.
So why would he like go back like, why do you think I do? Why do you think I'm a coach? Why do you think she's a good? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I asked you a simple question. He's like, how do you think I blew up? And then I was hoping he's gonna drop a bomb, or I was hoping he wasn't. He's like, how do you think I blew up? I'm like based on your videos, looks like your daughter. And then he confirms it, but takes forever to get there and is convoluted about it.
I realized people were going through dark times. Not everyone was fine during COVID, so they needed something to keep them going. They didn't need it. They were in search of, and I knew how to provide value in a positive way. I didn't ask.
Yeah, someone says he's saying the thing, LOL.
For people to follow me. I just knew that they were following me to see some videos with my daughter, and we enjoyed it. Okay, but well,
people are like, wrong answer. The comments are crazy.
A little bit more information, then you'll have a clear vision. Okay, when is enough enough? There was a point in time when.
I think he just realized that he put himself into a corner. He's like, let me ask you another question. No. See, I don't know if you knew I had ADD, but like I was about to answer, and he's like, then he switches. So he answers the thing, he knows he's wrong, he catches himself, and then he switches it because he realizes he's done.
Okay, some videos kind of, let's say, tense because I would show more and more about the reality of the sport, the reality of something. I wouldn't just show the highlights. I would show me actually training.
So again, I asked the question, how'd you grow or something like that, and then he answered, but then he kept going. He just wants to everybody. It's almost like he used this as an opportunity to be like, look how amazing I am.
Which would be tears, which would be long, hard, tough talks, which people would see as exploitation because we didn't agree with it. But we live in a world that only shows the highlights, a world of just a fake reality. I'm a very transparent person, okay? So the exploit, okay. Then let's say we reach 1 million followers. I never once did we ask for 1 million followers. Never once did we ask for the brands to offer us money to create videos. Okay. Never once did I ask.
Okay, you didn't ask for the money. You didn't ask for the followers. So, what kind of logic is this? But you did get the followers. You did get offered the money. You took it and you took it. That's your consent to that. What? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, I didn't ask for these things. Okay, but you took them, right? Again, my brain is, I don't know, my brain's fried right now because this guy, I couldn't land on one point. I couldn't rebut because he just kept talking. And I didn't want to over interrupt him, and it's his show. It's crazy.
To sexualize my daughter just because she's in a cheer outfit. You know what I mean? Because that's not what is on my mind. I'm aware of that. But you gotta.
There you go. I'm aware of it. He admits it again. I'm aware of that. There are men sexualizing my little 7-year-old daughter online. I'm aware of it. Any parent who says, imagine you're just hanging out with your bros at a barbecue or your family, you're just hanging out with a bunch of other families, right? Parents are all having a conversation. I am aware that my daughter is sexualized by men online. What do you think normal people are going to say to something like that? You're aware of it, and so what do you do about it? Nothing. We continue to post as if nothing. Just continue. Like, are you serious?
Understand the context of why we have our videos. So what have our videos turned into? This is Jaden, my talented daughter. During COVID, everyone's following me. They love our relationship.
See, just admit it again.
What is our content nowadays? Here's where we are, still going hard. She's still working hard. Our relationship is still great.
So he's like, where's our content now? Exactly where it was when you started growing. He's making it sound like, where's it now? And it's changed to this. No, it's not. And he's like, and it's the same thing. What? Where are these words? There's too many words, dude.
But here's the reality of success. I posted a video of her coughing. People would say, why would you let her compete whenever she's coughing? Jaden she wasn't backing down. I didn't force her. First of all, she doesn't even cheer. She does gymnastics. Half the world doesn't even know that. She doesn't want to cheer. I don't want her to cheer. We stunt maybe once a month just to have some content online. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to not show the reality of our lives. That is not exploiting my daughter.
It is absolutely exploiting. We've already, like, that's been proved 10 minutes ago in this conversation multiple times, and then he says it out loud again.
In my sense. And yes, you can frame it in a certain way, but if my platform is to show my relationship with my daughter, my family, how things grow, why would I let one monkey stop the show?
No, I agree. I hear what you're saying. Like, I agree to the degree, like, why would you let one hater stop your show? I'm not asking you to let haters stop your show. I'm not asking for you to be like, don't worry, who cares what the haters say on your coughing video? I don't care that you're like, I'm hard on my daughter, this and that. You're a coach. Kids, I think, do need structure. They need all these things, and I'm not sending your failure that way. I think that when it comes to being a dad who guides your child, you're probably doing a really great job.
I'm trying to just like, I want to get him on topic, because I need to get him, like, I think he thinks I'm calling in to question his fathering, and I am. But only in this, right? Do I think he's probably a good dad? He's probably a little bit rough on his kid. I mean, there's probably worse parents out there that I've seen. So I'm just trying to, like, literally reset this thing so we can get back on a topic. It's basically what I'm doing right now.
Doing all the good things. The one thing you're not doing is protecting your daughter against online at all. Like, not even just predators. You're talking about privacy. You're talking about her future. You're talking about informed consent. You just admitted to me that that's exactly why your channel blew up, which is what I said. You said initially at the beginning of the outset of our conversation, you said you don't show her in leotards and doing splits. I see multiple shots of your daughter. Your first pinned post is your daughter in a bikini. Dude, you're four things down. She's doing splits in the air. I'm not saying that's inherently a bad thing, but where it changes is that the people who are watching you, and we know this to be true, it's so provable, so easy to prove, that the people who are watching your kid are watching it for probably nefarious reasons, and the fact that you don't seem to care.
The Dad Challenge podcast guy is being so nice in this live, but the energy is so different than his YouTube videos. That's true, Tamara. That's because I promised people that if you debate me or have a conversation with me, this is who I'm going to be. Like, I'm petty and I'm petty with a purpose online, and I snark. But if you honestly wanted to come on and have a conversation with me, even in the back end, this is how I treat you. I think a lot of people think in real life, I'm a big giant jerk to everybody. Like at the drive-thru, probably don't tip. I'm actually literally the nicest person in real life. And I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to float my own boat. I am just that person because I think it's better to be nice, interact with people nicely, I would love to leave a conversation with people where they feel better, right? If someone in front of me is getting berated at Canadian Tire for some reason, I'll come up next and be like, you know what? F that guy. You're doing a great job. I'll be that guy that's the opposite of that. If I'm getting mistreated in public and stuff like that, and people are like, I might get a little bit, but it's just, you have to be really bad. Okay? Like businesses, if you're doing something wrong, I'll leave a review and stuff like that. But like in real life, that's me, right? To people. I'm respectful no matter what. I'm not trying to start fights with people in public. I'm not Jess Fam at Panda Express, right? I'm not out there trying to get in people's grill and start fights and be that guy. I'm really nice. Online, I'm snarky and I'm really that too in real life too. But like, I don't know how to explain it. Like we driving down the street and snark on people's driving or something like that, you know, but like in real life, this is how we'll treat you. And so she's right. So different than my YouTube videos.
Or you're like, well, I'm not going to let one person stop me, but again, it goes back to the question. If you knew that there were gross pedo, chomo douchebags watching your daughter getting off, how would you continue doing that?
I guess my answer that I give to you still won't be accepted because if you look at the first...
Why won't it be accepted? Is it because you're about to say, I don't care that they're getting off on my daughter? Because that's the only, no, it's not accepted. It's not an acceptable answer, father to father. To be like, well, you know, I can't help that it's true that we can't help that there are predators out there, but we can help what content we give them. Like, that's just so simple, man. The concept is so simple. You know they exist. Why give them the content? The end. Especially when you admittedly say you don't need her to make your money and you could turn it all off right now and not make any money. and admitted multiple times that they exist out there and that you've seen the comments about it.
Picture. I have an 8-pack. My daughter has an 8-pack.
So he says my daughter has an 8-pack. I brought that up later and he got mad at me for saying that.
Daddy-daughter duo must do it. I'm proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not...
See, there's a person says, Mick Stem Stuffer. How's the pedo behavior Roland's fault? It's not. And I'm not saying it's his fault. But he can control, again, what the pedos get. Right? If you can't control them. Right? So people were like, whoa, what do we do? Well, there's a bunch of mitigating things you can do. There's a bunch of things to mitigate it. There's a bunch of things that you can stay safe with. Right? You don't let them go out by themselves. You don't put them on the internet for them to be consumed like that. Right? Those are a couple things. You can still live your life. People are like, well, you just keep inside. No, man. Like, why is it one or the other? Why is it one extreme or the other? The one thing you can do to protect your child, it's so easy, is to stop posting them online. The world will still turn if you don't get to post your kid online. Your kid is still a person if you don't post them online. They still exist. They are still a kid. They don't even know. That's the craziest part about this. They don't know their reach, their value online. They don't know any of that stuff. They don't know. They will never notice the difference. Oh, these people.
I'm going to not post that picture. I think that's a fire picture that I will always love. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to not post that one picture just because someone is going to be like, oh my gosh, that's delicious, or oh my gosh, that's whatever. Because she can be wearing, so she can have a hijab and someone can see her eyes and say, oh my gosh, she has beautiful eyes. Or you can have
no
any type of fetish you want. But you're saying that I should have no pictures of my children in anything.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. So you can't put words in my mouth.
No. But I didn't finish my statement. You're saying I should have no pictures of my daughter or videos of my daughter at all if she is there's an attire.
No.
Okay.
No. And he's probably trying to allude here to like she was wearing a skirt, she deserved it, like victim blaming type of thing, right? And it's not exactly where that's not where we're going at all. But you are the person responsible for your daughter. She is 7, right? You're responsible for how she eats, for bedtimes, for her schedules, for well-being, for her safety. And so this is on you. She doesn't put it out there. You do.
I can post videos of our family having fun jumping into a pool. But since I have $1 million or 1 million followers, I can't post a picture of her in a certain setting due to the fact that there are creepos out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest.
I mean, yep. And so what was he expecting me to say? No, you totally can. No, that's exactly what I'm saying. And but he doesn't, he gets it, but he doesn't get it.
You're right. I mean, the bigger...
I disagree.
Well, I mean, of course we can disagree on this thing. It's not that you just posted it though, Roland. It's that it's your first pinned post. It's the most proud. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be proud of something like that, but what's the difference between being proud of a photo that you print and post in your home and posting it to millions of people, including probably hundreds of thousands of men watching it? Now, the only reason it's scary is because there are predators. We live in an evil world. There's no way around it. It's just no way around it. And the same question it comes up every single time about informed consent. Well, your daughter's maybe someday, maybe she doesn't, maybe she does. But what if she does come to you someday and say, my online footprint is bigger than most people's on Earth because you shared me. And what if she wants to tell her story when she's older? What if she didn't want people to see her in leotards? And you even said a comment that really got me going here. You said that you show her hate comments, and if there's
that's my brain catching up to like 20 minutes ago. Like, wait, did you say that?
Comment there about her and her body. Does she reads that shit?
I don't see comments of people saying that. So, like, if you go through all my comments, there's nothing that. But if you can find it,
then it's not sexually related.
Mixed stem stuffer here is always just like she's a Choma protector. She's like, it's a Cherokee hat. It's not Bang's hat. But there are pictures of her in a bathing suit. McStuffer, you dumbass. Like, how are you not... So again, this is why it's like... That's why we have this conversation. Because there are people out there who still, even in the light of this conversation, will still stand by him in exploiting his daughter. There's no excuse for the things that I've presented to him. And they're not surface level stuff. These are pretty crazy things. And they will still go to bat for this guy.
You show her hate comments?
Yes. Because I want her to know, yes, because I want her to know that there are individuals like you, not in a bad way. I don't know anything about you whatsoever.
And he gets mad at me for not knowing anything about him.
But there are people like you who are going to judge you, who don't even know you, who don't even know the story. And you have to be
Everybody in the comments like, you do what?
okay with that, because they don't determine who you are, and you cannot let them slow you down. This is always going to be there.
People are so upset. Look, again, it's usually a type of person that says something like, now kids can't wear swimsuits? Like, oh my gosh, what's the world coming to? What? Who said your kids can't wear a swimsuit? Where are you getting this? Maybe don't put them in a two-piece bikini on the internet. That's just all we're saying. But these moms would be like, why? What do you mean, why? We just told you why. And if you're not willing to hear it, you're blind you're blind, deaf. You don't want to hear it. Hear no evil, see no evil, but it exists. Regardless of whether or not you see it or hear it, evil exists. So just take the safer route. Literally won't matter if she's wearing a one-piece or a bikini. Your kid doesn't care.
You won't be there.
Can you say that though without showing us the comments?
Why? Who are you to dictate how I do that?
I'm just asking a question. I said, can you explain to her that there are haters on the internet without showing her the hate comments? And again, why would a 7-year-old ever need to know that there are hate comments about them on the internet? Totally don't have to tell her that. She will be just fine without knowing that.
I'm not dictating.
Like, to what end? What good is that of a 7-year-old to know that there are haters on the internet about her? What does that? How does that help her? So when they approach her in public, she's like, "Well, I know there's haters." That's even worse, man. That there are haters approaching her in public.
Could you achieve the same result without showing her the comments?
I don't know.
You do know.
Because that's, if I don't show her the comments, how it's like me telling, hey, I have an apple out there. There's an apple out there in this world. Okay.
See, the Thompson Sports TV says, Josh a predator? That's a question. Why would that be a question?
There's an apple, but what does an apple look like? This is an apple. Mm-hmm. Whenever you have to talk about the bees and the birds, or you want to beat around the bush, how are you?
That's not the same at all. Stupid idiot. I'm sorry, that's so dumb. When you have conversations with your children about the birds and the birds and the bees or whatever, those are conversations you need to have with your children that are about their bodies, about consent, which clearly you don't have conversations with her about. Like, that's not, why is that the same as, hey, there are people on the internet who hate you for no reason. Let's read those comments together. You're 7. They're adults. Let's read them. What?
You want to do that? And who am I to dictate how you do that?
None of it has anything to do with child exploitation. None of it does. If you have the bees and birds conversation with your daughter on camera for people to watch, which families like Not Enough Nelsons and other people do that stuff, like, are you gonna come on video when your daughter has her first period and tell the world your daughter had her first period?
No.
Okay. Are you gonna come on and tell them, hey, my daughter started shaving her legs?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, wait. Maybe I will.
I don't know. Maybe, because that one, I would probably be like, y'all, Jaden's at the stage where she's shaving her legs, and here's how I feel as a father. But am I going to throw a video of her shaving her legs? But going back to because we're getting off track, why would I not?
So it's like, maybe?
I show my daughter the comments.
Well, sorry, say it again?
Why would I not show my daughter the comments? Well, because largely the comments are what? Positive.
Largely, not that video, but the reason why is because she's 7, and to protect her from comments like that, because no matter what you think, that's just going to live in her head rent free. These kids are we both have young children, right? We understand that they are in developmental stages of their life. When you say one thing to your daughter, or she experiences one thing and it's a core memory to some degree, that's going to stick with her forever. Like, I don't know if you understand this, and you probably do. I hope you do, because you're a sports.
You know I do. Like, you know I understand.
That is going to, if there was a comment there and you're like, oh, just ignore it, but it said something about her body or said something about whatever, I don't care who you are, no matter how tough you are as a human or what your dad or your mom built into you, that is going to live in your head. A 7-year-old doesn't need to hear that there are adults commenting about her, or even you, who she loves, who thinks hung the moon, and says, Dad, why are these people hating on you? And you're like, oh, they're just haters. But do you think that there's some validity to some of the comments? Like, hey, are you really going to send her to compete while she is coughing her lungs out? Like, are you really going to do, like, there are some comments that aren't.
Let's start right there. Yes.
Yes.
So proud of it. Yes, I will send her to compete when she's sick. Yes. Okay. Again, I don't really care. She worked really hard. It's probably a big competition. You miss it, you miss it. I mean, she's 7. She's going to have a bunch more, but I don't care about that. He thinks I'm upset about the athletics part of this. That's like the least of my worries. Even though there is something to be said, and it has brought this to my attention, is that elite level athletic kids, their lives are not normal either. And it's something we have to look into.
You will.
Yes, and I did. And she won state.
Say again. Oh, sorry, I'm confused. I asked like one question.
She won state. We sick that week. We got her on antibiotics early. We went to the doctor twice. She was not contagious. I posted the video of me coughing. I strategically, you got to understand. So my favorite game is chess. Always 2 steps ahead. Always multiple steps ahead. I knew what was going to be the reaction from the world because I didn't provide them with all the information. I looked like this angry dad out there forcing his daughter, but I didn't show the clip. We were getting, but if you look at that video, she said, "Daddy, can you tickle me so I can cough harder?" So she can cough all of it out because she had a competition. Then we did what we could, got her as well as possible. She went out there and won state.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations. Again,
Yeah, Alyssa just said in the comments, so you're posting for a negative reaction. He's like, he's just admitted right there that it's not, good old fashioned family fun videos. He's like, I post that video because I want to hate comments. Like, why? Hey, like, how's that good for anybody?
No, look, you've been asking me questions. Why would I not send my daughter, who trains 15 hours a day, 5 days a week, 3 hours a day, to the biggest competition of her?
You say 15 hours a day? Let me hear that again.
Questions. Why would I not send my daughter, who trains 15 hours a day, 5 days a week, 3 hours a day?
15 hours a day? Does she not go to school? 15 hours a day? I missed that. 15 hours a day? Okay, now we're talking about, I should have been like, can you say that again? 15 hours a day? 5 days a week? I missed that. What?
The biggest competition of her life. You're called.
She's 7. It's not the biggest competition of her life.
No, we can't go. Why would I stop? As a father, knowing how much that
I missed that.
Knowing how she's not contagious, knowing how she's actually fine, she's just coughing stuff out. Why would I?
Lisa's like, she's 7.
Take away that opportunity from her just because she's coughing, and just because everyone's gonna comment and say, "Oh, what if she's got other people say, oh, what if she's," knowing that I know
someone write 15 hours a day.
She's not contagious.
What?
Knowing that I know she wants to be that safe. If I would have just listened to the world, or let's say if I didn't even post it, but if I were people in the comments, knowing that she won state, all around champion, highest score at competition, what if I were to think, and just maybe those people are right, I shouldn't have let her compete. 15
hours a day for a 7-year-old is insane.
Because she would have not done well, got other people sick, and then I pulled that opportunity away from my daughter. Do you see how it doesn't matter?
As you can see, I'm just waiting to say, I don't care about the competition. I don't.
Comment in my page because I'm so well within.
He meant 15. Sorry, there's a comment there.
Because she would have not done well, got other people sick, and then I pulled that opportunity away from my daughter. Do you see how it doesn't matter what you comment in my page?
He meant 15 hours a week, 5 times a week, 3 hours a day. 3 hours a day, 5 times a week, so it's 15 hours a week. Okay. Yeah, I agree. It's probably what he meant to say. There's no way this kid trains 15 hours a day. No human being could possibly do that to the degree that she does that. It's 3 hours a day. I'll give you that, Laura.
Because I'm so well within, like my life.
Even that, I think, is a lot for a 7-year-old.
Side of social media is so well cohesive and put together. My relationship with my daughter is more than meets the eye because I only show people what I want people to see, and
They all say this too. I only show what I want people to see. And I'm strategically going to make this video that's going to get me a bunch of hate. To what end?
Strategically trim my videos in a way to where if you want to come at me and get triggered, I have a response for you. I have more information.
Why do you want people to be triggered with videos of your daughter? Why? Why do you want to start? This guy, I've realized since this, he loves arguing. He loves online haters. He responds to all of them. They all send me all the screenshots. He loves it. He loves this. I don't know how he has time. Okay, but he loves it. So he does these videos because he wants to get that, because he likes to respond, because he thinks he's right. It's really weird, man.
You don't know.
So all I'm hearing is that you're strategically wanting to bring hate so your daughter can read the hate. It doesn't even make sense to me. You would ever want to put your daughter in a position where she's getting hate. If she doesn't deserve it, you know she doesn't deserve it.
She's not getting hate. I'm getting hate.
Okay, well, exactly. But so you're reading the hate comments about you. Your daughter loves you, and she's going to start. You don't think that's going to be detrimental to her?
No.
Yeah, well, we can disagree. But again, I'm glad that you went. And that's not my beef isn't with you taking your daughter to a competition. It's not her. It's not you pushing her really hard as a 7-year-old with an 8-pack, which is actually crazy. It's not that. That's not my beef with you. My beef is with the exploitation. I'm telling you, and you admitted it all here, which is like, I understand what you're saying. But you're like, yeah, I do use my daughter for ads. I do make money off my daughter. You admitted all these things in this chat.
Yeah, I think he really's like, I did? Yup. Sorry, bro. You did.
I'm a very objective person, and I like to just go, if you can have an objective conversation, like, I don't care if you had my guts like anyone, but I never said I use her for ads.
Yes, you do. Yes, you did.
No, I do ads with my daughter.
I never said I use my daughter for ads. I do ads with my daughter.
She's willing to.
I'm in the, like, okay.
Am I using my daughter for, what is defined using my daughter for ads? Is she in ads? Yes, she's in ads. Do we make income from those ads?
That's exactly what exploitation is. That's exactly what exploitation is. You just don't like the word exploitation. Would you like me to use a different word?
Okay, define exploitation, because maybe we're not.
You are using your child's image, likeness, social media platform, everything, her story, everything on your platform. It brings you money, right? And you do that without her informed consent, which you will never get.
Without her informed consent.
You will never get your daughter's informed consent because she's not old enough to understand the outcome of the internet. Do you know that AI technology right now is so powerful? Someone could take any picture and voice or video of your daughter and turn it into porn. Did you know that? And take them 2 seconds. And she's famous. Your daughter is famous, a 7-year-old famous.
And since I've done this video, I've had many people who like have watched it and said, I know them, I've seen it. Like, people that I don't even think are on the internet that much have seen your daughter. She's literally famous.
There are predators watching your daughter right now, likely downloading the content of her, turning it into videos and selling it on the dark web because of the large platform that you have.
And then people are upset with me, like, oh, here it goes with AI. It's true. Why are you upset with the truth? So they're like, well, here's the argument for AI. Yep. Okay. Are you saying that's not valid or something? I hate people who do that. What do you mean?
Now, you can't stop that, and it's not your responsibility, but you are serving it up on a silver platter to those predators.
If I were serving it up on a silver platter, then why would I create, or then why would I'm aware of people out there, the dark web stuff, like, I don't get down to the deepest, like, that's like saying back to the whole...
why the deep web, Chick-fil-A drug dealers?
Chick-fil-A thing. Do you know that there are black people out there with guns, with drugs, with bombs? Do you know that they're out there with bombs, and they're just waiting? You know that they're out there? That right there is something, that AI technology, you gotta, like, that isn't, you're talking
reality. It's a massive reality right now.
And if you're going to, I don't base any decision off. Everything I do is very well calculated. And if there's the one who can do AI technology and take a clip of anyone and do whatever.
Someone just said, so this guy won't post a picture of his kids? I'm talking to me. Again, that's not what I'm talking about. And you guys know it. Like, they'll say it, like, I used to post my kids all the time, actually. Didn't think there was a big issue. I've tried to absolutely wipe the internet of any picture of my child. There's still some on my Facebook and still some here and there, but I don't make money off my kids. Like, we're getting to the nitty-gritty of the exploitation. The dangerous part of the exploitation is if you have a famous kid, they're going to be tracked by predators, right? If you're posting in front of 7.5 million people on TikTok, 1 million on Instagram, that's a huge, massive following, okay? So if people are watching this who are in this comment, who are liking it, who are in there and saying stuff like that, no, I don't think that it's wrong necessarily to post your children at all. If you're just a nobody that doesn't have 1 million followers or like even a large following, go ahead. Where I draw the distinction, and I've said this 1 million times, is that when your child is the content, is the subject matter, or needs to be in it for you to make money, that's the exploitation part. That's it. The danger is separate from the exploitation, but the exploitation includes the danger. Does that make any sense? So the exploitation is bad and it's dangerous. Whereas if you're just posting your kid here and there and you don't have a big following, it's not that dangerous. Still some danger involved. But if you're, even if you're an influencer and once in a blue moon your child runs through the video or they do something cute and you show it, I have no problem with that. Zero problem with that. I've made that so clear. Like, if it's not about your children, then we can all see that with our eyes. If it is about your children, we can also see that with our eyes.
Turn it into whatever and whatever. That's not going to stop me from posting my content.
I know, but you wouldn't want that to happen to your daughter, right?
But you're saying that it is happening. So
no, I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it could, but you wouldn't want it to, right?
That's the whole fallacy.
Just answer the question. No, I wouldn't.
Why would you get in a car knowing that you could get into a car wreck?
You keep bringing it back to these weird, what did these things, like, my issue is that if there's drug dealers at Chick-fil-A, you don't send your...
But I should have answered that properly. So getting in a car is dangerous. It is dangerous. But you know what cars have? They have seatbelts. Your kids are likely in booster seats. Cars are safer than they've ever been before. And you can often, if you're a good driver, be good. I mean, accidents do happen, yes. Right? So what he's trying to say is like, so I should never get in a car because it's dangerous. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying there are certain things you have to do, right? And there are inherent dangers of just walking outside your front door. I'm not saying avoid all danger at all costs because it's impossible. What I'm saying is that this one is totally avoidable. 100% avoidable. So you shouldn't do it. That's what I'm saying. If there is inherent danger in doing normal things as a human, you got to do them. You take the risk, you go. But if there are things where you're like, hey, I'm going to jump off this bridge. Maybe I'll break my legs. Maybe not. Maybe I'll die. We'll see. And you don't have to jump off the bridge. You don't. It's avoidable. This is the same thing. Completely avoidable, completely unnecessary. Whereas a vehicle, gotta drive to practice, gotta drive to the gym, gotta drive to school, gotta drive to the grocery store, gotta drive to Starbucks. You need a vehicle. You need these things. You don't need to post your daughter on the internet. There's no necessity for it. According to him, but it is a need. He's just not admitting it. His need is the monetary gain from it.
Your daughter alone. There are predators online that have parasocial relationships with your daughter you have no idea about. You don't even know them. That's almost like sending your daughter to a place where you don't know there's danger and there is danger. Or you do know there's danger and you're like, well, there's nothing you can do. You still got to go play at the playground. You're not seeing the big picture, and that's I get it.
No, you gotta.
It's hard to hear. This is hard to hear, and I'm glad you're having this conversation.
But I'm having this conversation because I understand that, and I'm completely fine having a conversation with someone. And I told you more than anything, put your message out there. We can use my.
Then he pivots to be like, I brought you on here to talk because I agree with you. No, you don't. You don't agree with me. You wouldn't do it if you agreed with me.
Followers who really know me, who have followed for years, they understand that I'm aware of that. They know the precautions that I take. You know what I mean? They understand that my content is tailored. They understand that my daughter's protection goes above all. But they understand that I'm a very transparent person, and they understand that my content isn't posted online solely with the fact that if someone want to take this and make AI porn out of it,
I'm going to stop there because I've got to do this in two parts because it's getting crazy. He's right. And I'll say this eventually. I'm like, I don't think that's why you're doing it. I don't think most of them do it for that reason. But I do think that some of them, when something like that happens, like a picture of their kid with a thumbnail of their mouth on it, and they get like a huge bump and hundreds of thousands of views, they have to ask themselves why. And then when they continue to do that, they know then. At that point, you're complicit. At that point, you're like, okay, there's predators watching this, but it's getting me a lot of money and I'm going to keep posting it. At that point, you're complicit. At that point, you are to blame, right? Before you're not, but after you are. So anyway, everybody take a deep breath. Part 2, I'm going to post it another time, maybe today, tomorrow. I don't know. It's not really snarkmassy, but it's really important that we do this. And I want to break this whole thing down. We're only literally a quarter of the way through this. And this is a really, really important topic, and we got to continue to talk about it. I hope Roland watches these, and I hope he pays attention here. So I will see you for part 2.
It's that time of year. DCP's here to snark and to jeer for these buttholes to hear. Don't forget to book your pap smear. Snarkmas 2023.
Ho, ho, ho! Nana, you son of a bitch!